There we go.
3, 2, 1. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hope you're listening. I hope everything's working. We're at a new location today. I'm Al Beldegan. I'm a social media guru guy and head photographer for Epic Photo Ops Canada. This is Tatiana Wolf. She's the operations manager for Epic Photo Ops Canada. And we're welcoming you to our
I don't know that.
more than fourth live show, I think, maybe fifth show, I think, or is it something like that?
Something like that.
Thanks for joining us. Some coming up, and we have quite a bit of information to discuss, and we're here to take your questions. So those of you who are coming to an upcoming convention and you have some questions about photo ops specifically, obviously we can't answer questions about the expo itself or the other aspects of the expo like autographs and admissions and that. We can't answer that because we're not the expo, we're the photo ops. So feel free to ask your questions. In the meantime, we have a bunch of stuff that we can go over.
We will be talking about Edmonton Expo, and we will be talking about Salt Lake City, Salt Lake Comic Con. I don't know why I always say Salt Lake City Comic Con. Salt Lake SLCC, Salt Lake Comic Con.
I thought it was the SLCCC.
No,
okay.
Salt
Lake Comic Con. We actually have a bunch of information regarding Salt Lake Comic Con. So.
Yeah, that will go into in a bit. That's too many ins.
That's okay.
Right.
So I guess to start things off, a lot of the times while we're waiting for people to join us and that kind of thing, we typically go over some of the major processes that happen. For a lot of people that join us on these QA shows, have never been to a photo op before. If you've done photo ops for the past 10 years, there's probably not going to be a ton of new information in this episode, but if you have Salt Lake Comic Con information that you're interested in, we'll probably have a bunch of that. And
yeah, I infected you.
You did. So first of all, let's talk about the process. So the way Epic Photo Ops works is you can go online and purchase tickets to get your photo taken with a special guest that's joining the show. In addition, you can buy tickets at the show, and either way, you end up with a 3D barcode. One of those funky looking scattery QR code things. That's your ticket to getting your photo taken, and we need that ticket. We actually scan those at the booth entrance in order to allow you into the booth to get your photo taken. So you do have to have one of those. Each ticket that you purchase allows you to have up to four people in the photo, excluding young children. You can have a young children or two in the photo as well. But 4 people, so if you wanted to bring in 6 or 7 people, you'd need to buy 2 tickets in order to get that. So then you could do 3 people, 1 photo, and 4 in the other, or whatever you want to do. Or you could do 6 or I think 6 is the maximum we can fit in our booth width.
8.
8, okay.
So basically, you buy for 1 photo op ticket, you can have 4 individuals in the photo. That does not count young children, so 3 years old under. We're not gonna quibble with you if the children are 5, right? So as long as they don't go to school yet, they don't count towards the photo op. But other than that, it's 4 individuals per photo op ticket, and we can accommodate a maximum of 8 people, 8 individuals in a photo. So that would mean 2 photo op tickets for 8 people.
So for example, if you're doing a group shoot with, say, the Power Rangers crew or something, there may be 4 of them. That means that we could only have 4 of you in the picture with the 4 of them, which would be 8 people total. So hopefully that makes sense. So next thing is, when you come into the booth, you'll get your ticket scanned, and then there's going to be a shelf and some really helpful volunteers that are going to help you take your bags and stuff like that and put them on the shelf. Then you go into the booth, you get your photo taken, and then when you come out of the booth, you pick up your bag and you carry on. Now, while you're in,
and please pick up your own bag.
Yeah,
don't
pick up your
somebody
own bag.
else's bag.
It's very important. When you're in the booth, there's a bunch of things to keep in mind. Our light source is a giant umbrella, and as you can imagine, if you wear glasses, if the plane of your glasses matches the plane of the umbrella really closely, you're just going to have a big white circle on your glasses. So if you wear glasses, it's best to tilt your head down slightly so that the plane of your glasses is completely different from the plane of the flash. Some people do have those really funky curved lenses or whatever, where no matter what you do, they're going to have bright flashes. What we try and do is ensure that you get the best photo possible. And in the case of those weird glasses, we make sure that if there is a reflection, it's not right where your eyeballs are. It's off to the sides or up along the top or whatever. But we do our best to try and make sure that you get a good photo.
If you're comfortable enough with it, then we suggest just taking the glasses off
Yes.
for your photo op.
Makes life a lot easier with no glasses.
Yep.
There's a whole bunch of things we want to talk about in the booth. For example, if you're carrying a ticket, you get your ticket scanned and then you come in the booth, put the ticket in your pocket. You don't want a photo with your ticket in your hand.
Also, maybe take your lanyard off.
Yeah, some people like their lanyard in the picture because then they remember which convention it was, but some people go out and get their photo and they go, oh, I left my lanyard on, right? So make that conscious decision whether you want your lanyard in the photo or not. If you have something that you want to hold, like a photo or a book or a poster or whatever, it's the same thing as the glasses. If you have the same plane as the flash, it's going to just turn out like a giant white blob. So make sure you tilt them forward slightly,
like this. And
then that way the plane is different, and you will get a nice clear picture. And that's really important for people who say like, my cousin Jane couldn't make it, so we're going to hold her picture. Well, I'm sure Jane would like to actually see the picture of herself rather than a big white square. Also, on that note, things like iPads and Doctor Who screwdrivers and lightsabers and whatever rarely ever show up at all, because that little tiny battery-powered LED in those devices, or in the case of an iPad or whatever, it's not even a fraction bright enough to overpower the flash. So basically an iPad, you're going to be holding an iPad with a great picture of your cousin on it, and it's going to just be black when you get your photo. So if you have a picture of somebody you want to be in the photo with, make sure you print it on paper so that it'll show up. If you have a Doctor Who screwdriver or whatever, feel free to hold it up, but don't spend a whole lot of time making sure that it turns on, because that little green or blue light isn't even going to show up.
Same thing with lightsabers.
And lightsabers, don't worry about whether it's on or not. Just hold it, because you can go in Photoshop later or something and make it all look really cool.
If a point of courtesy is something that was brought up to my attention by some of the guests this past weekend at Saskatoon Expo. If you've been, the halls get very hot, and we realize that people start sweating. If you do find that you've been sweating a lot, please do be courteous of the guests and don't put your arm around them. Just because if they get 100 people doing that, then they're going to be sweaty too, and that's not going to look very good.
Not very fun.
So it's not. So just be courteous. If you do find that you've been sweating a lot, then just
fist bump,
and stand next to them, and be. That's good. Don't put your arm around them, then, please.
With little kids, it's really important that whether you're holding the kid or sometimes the guests will reach out and take the kid, don't offer your kid to the guest unless the guest asks to hold the kid. Whoever's holding the kids or wherever the kids are, they may be looking around. They've never seen anything like this before. They have no idea what's going on, and they're looking up at the big bright white umbrella and stuff, and they're looking around the room at all the people. Ignore the kids. You as adults need to be looking right at the camera lens so that you can guarantee you're getting a good picture. We're going to act like total goofballs and make all kinds of crazy noises and stuff to try and get the kids' attention. But if you're constantly looking down at the kids, you say, "Oh, look at the camera," then as soon as the kid looks at the camera, we go to take the picture, but you're looking down at the kid. You understand?
We actually had that happen at Saskatoon Expo too, with a young child, where everybody, including the guest, ended up looking at the baby, and then finally the baby looked at the camera, and everybody was looking down at the baby. So it just ignore the children. just look at the camera and we will deal with the children, and we will try to get the best shot possible. If it's not possible, then we'll still see that at least the child is looking somewhere interesting.
Yeah, like sometimes the child will be looking right at the guest. She's like, oh my God, who's that? You know, and it turns out to be a really cute picture. So don't worry about it. You'll see the picture after and you'll be impressed.
And the other thing too is if you have children, school-age children or older, do let them know to also look at the camera and that the cameraman, because what we found in the past is that they like to look at the umbrella, because it's a fascinating thing. That's where the flash is, and that's where they think that the picture is coming from. So they tend to look up at the flash instead of looking at the camera. So if you have children, then do instruct them that, you know, when you see the camera person and smile at the camera person, because they're important. The flash is not important.
Another subtle one that we don't necessarily remember to mention all the time is if you have a group of people, but only one or two of your group is going to be in the photo, have the other people please not come into the booth. Where you put your bags on the shelf, they can just kind of cut across and then wait for you at the exit of the booth so that we can keep things efficiently. We don't have a whole bunch of bodies running around and cluttering up the booths. They're actually fairly small. In floor space, we don't have a lot of room for a lot of people, and when you have the guests there with their agents and stuff like that, it starts to get pretty busy already. So keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, because a booth can fill up. You've got guests, so especially if it's a group shot, team up, then you've got 2 or 3 guests. You've got their security. You've got their handlers, you've got their agents in that booth, and then it gets pretty crowded. So if you're just sending your children in, if they're 12 and older, then do feel free to just send them in, and you can watch them from the exit. Same thing if you've got friends, we would actually encourage you to not even come into the booth, but just wait outside for where they exit the photo op area.
Yeah. So I think that's about all it for the in the booth stuff. I can't remember. Oh yeah, no autographs, no photography, no video. If you are caught with a camera or a cell phone or something like that, if you have a pose on your camera that you want to show the guests when you get up there, make sure you let the person who's ushering in know that the reason why you have your phone out is because you're like, okay, I just want to show them the pose. And then they're like, okay, and then they'll let it go. Then you go up, you show the pose to the guest says yes or no, and then you put it in your pocket and you get your picture and you get out. If you're standing there, oh no, I'm just texting, you'll get your phone, you know, someone's going to jump in front of you and you're not allowed to do this, right? It's really crucial. We have contractual obligations and such, and you cannot have people videoing and photoing in the booth.
Anything else on that? You said have your post ready?
Yeah, have your pose. Oh, I actually said that in a previous show. It's important to have your pose ready because in some lineups, the lines get fairly long, especially with a really popular guest, and you only have a short period of time. It's not a meet and greet, it's just a photograph. Yeah, you may only have sub 10 seconds to get your shot. So if you're prepared, you know exactly what you're doing, and you go to the guest, you go, okay, here's the pose I want to do. Okay, great, and boom, you do the pose, you get an awesome shot, and you're happy. If you spend a bunch of time trying to explain things and whatever, and then the guest is trying to get things done as efficiently as possible too, and sometimes they go, yeah, no, too complicated, just take a picture, and they'll just go like that, and you'll just get a picture, just like a regular picture. So if you have everything planned out ahead of time, it's going to go really smoothly and quickly. If you check out our epic photo of the day on Instagram, that's instagram.com/epicphotoops. You can look at our epic photos of the day and you'll see some pretty incredible photos that were done in sub 10 seconds. A person knew exactly what they were doing and they just did it.
There's a photo in there of David Tennant stepping into a TARDIS bag, and
it's
it
awesome.
Literally took 5 or 6 seconds. That's all it took. So,
yeah, and it's a great photo. So just be prepared, that's all.
Don't pick up the guests. Don't ask to be picked up by the guests.
No
don't
kissing.
Jump on the guests. Yeah. And most importantly, don't kiss or hug the guests. You know, yes, you can ask, but please don't, because you may know their character, and their character may have been in your living room, but you've never been in their living room. So they don't know you from Adam as such, right? So be courteous. You wouldn't go and ask to hug a stranger on the street or kiss a stranger on the street. So don't do it with the guests either, please. It's just, again, a courtesy thing because they don't know you, right?
and this one's probably going to disappoint a few people, but the guests typically do not keep the gifts and stuff you give them. Don't hand them your phone number with your hotel room on it or anything like that, because they literally just leave them in the booth, and then we have to just clean it all up. It's nice when people do handmade stuff and gifts or whatever as a gesture to people, but they don't accept them.
They do accept them, but oftentimes a lot of the gifts they're not able to take with them because they have luggage restrictions like everybody else. And if they were to keep every single thing that they ever got from a fan, then that's gonna clutter up their house real quick. So it's a nice gesture. Sometimes they do keep the gifts, especially if it's something cool and unique. But in general, it's probably better for you to just interact with the guest and let them know. If you have a letter, that's fine, because they can read it and then they've had that bit. But other than that, refrain from giving them gifts, especially in the photo op area. If you're going to do something like that, then again, the autograph area is a better place. That brings me to the point that a photo op is not a meet and greet, unless it specifically says so. Like for our Tim Curry photo ops that we've had at other conventions, there were specific packages that were sold as a meet and greet, but those are not sold through us, not through our store. So any of the photo ops that you purchase from us are just exactly that. It's a matter of you go in there, you stand next to the guest, you smile, you have your picture taken, you leave. If you actually want to talk to the guest, you want to say something like hello, or hey, I loved your show, or I'm your biggest fan and all that, go to the autograph table and do it there, because they have more time for you there. Photo ops is literally, like we've been stressing, 10 seconds is probably the max that you'll get with one of the guests.
Larry Wardell says, can your phone be scanned with your ticket on it, or do you need to print it out on paper? Yes, we can scan phones, but your brightness needs to be turned up all the way, and you have to make sure that your the 3D barcode is clearly visible on the screen, and generally then the scanners will pick it up without too much issue.
Yeah, once you're done with in the booth and you've exited and you've picked up your bag, then it's time for you to pick up your photo. Mm-hmm. The photo is generally ready for you before you are, generally, or at the same time. So just pick up your photo. If you have an extra print or a digital copy, you will get that after you scan out. So you have to have your ticket and your photo ready so that we can scan those out for you. Once we've scanned them out, then you should have your digital probably within, depending on what the reception is like in the convention, relatively quickly, but usually within 24 hours. If you do not have your JPEG within 24 hours, then you email us at support@epicphotoops.com. Your extra print you would get at the reprint station. You can pick that up just after you've scanned out as well. Yeah, and that kind of does our little run through. We're going to go into something rather specific now. We're going to go a little bit into Salt Lake Comic Con. No city.
It was a city once.
It was a city
once. Not anymore.
Not anymore. No, it's just a Salt Lake now. Okay. So Grotix is their ticketing partner. So all the ticketing for admissions, VIP, photo ops, autographs, and all that goes through Grotix. So if you have an issue with your online sales, then you need to contact the show or Grotix to deal with that. We have a different system. So what we do is we build the schedule, we assign the time for all the tickets via a connector to Grotix, and from Grotix to Epic. So in that kind of sense, we can only tell them if the ticket was used or not. We assign the time for all the tickets. And we're doubling it.
Sorry, while she was talking, I was just trying to make sure that things were working,
yes.
And then now they're working.
Yes. Yes.
But we do have questions, so I'm going to assume that it's working.
Yeah. So what we need for the Salt Lake people to do is look at the times on the tickets. Here I go with the tippets. Tippets. You started me on the timbits.
I'm going to coin that phrase.
Okay,
they have tippets, and I'm going to promote it on social media.
Check we've sent out Epic tickets. You had GrowTix tickets, and you were sent Epic tickets. And I'm going to really enunciate that now. And on the Epic tickets, it'll have your group number on it, and it'll have the time on it. And that is what's really important. So we need you to look at those tickets so that you can find out what time your photo op is. And then you have to show up about 15 minutes before that time in the photo op area to get lined up.
But not earlier.
Not earlier, because there's only so much space that we have, and we'll end up having to send you away if you show up too early.
Also, the best way to tell the difference between the GrowTix tickets and the Epic Photo Ops tickets is on the 3D barcode, the QR code. It actually has our Epic logo in the middle. So that's the one we're looking for, that we're going to need to scan you into the booth and get your tickets.
If you're not sure what the Epic logo is, this is the Epic.
Yeah,
logo.
the little camera on there.
Okay. So we can also read the RFID wristbands. So what you can do is Salt Lake City has sent you your wristbands for the weekend, and that wristband is RFID capable. So what you can do is you can log into your account with GrowTix, and you can add your photo ops to your wristband, and then we can scan either the ticket that you've printed out from Epic, or we can scan your wristband if you've linked the photo ops to your wristband. But for that, you have to have linked them to your wristband. How to do that? Best to go and email GrowTix, and they will be able to walk you through how to add your photo ops and your autographs and all that to your wristbands. You'll also need to remember who has the photo ops on your wristbands, since it's not person specific. So one of you will have all the photo ops on the wristbands if it's for a group, and you'll have to remember who that is. So sometimes that's why we generally say it's better if you print out the tickets, because then you have it in hand and you know exactly what's it. But you don't have to. If you have it on your phone, that's good. If you end up linking it to your wristband for Salt Lake City, that's great. For the Edmonton Expo, you will have to either have it on your phone or have it printed out. They don't have wristbands, RFID wristbands in Edmonton. There will be an ADA line. So if you are special needs, if you have autism, if you have anxiety disorders, if you're in a wheelchair, there is an ADA area, and ADA generally goes first into the photo op booth. Just because we do realize that you do take a little more time, and we do want to make it an epic experience for everybody. VIP for Salt Lake City, VIP will actually have a separate entrance this time. So awesome, great, my battery's about to die. So VIP have a separate VIP entrance into the lineup area, and you will have your own separate area to line up in, so that you're not going to be mixed in with the masses. So consequently, you won't be moved to the front of the lines, because you will have your own separate area. We've been able to put all the VIPs in group 1. So you should, if you are a VIP, you should automatically be in group 1. If you're not a VIP, then you'll probably start at group 2 or later for the individual sessions. We have, in Salt Lake City, we have 4 booths that'll be running pretty much full tilt, but we also have an overflow booth. So if one of the photo ops ends up running late or something, we can shift a guest over into the overflow booth. So just again, so that you guys aren't late for other things and for other photo ops. There is going to be Christopher Lloyd and Tom Wilson are both doing a car shoot with the DeLorean for Salt Lake City. So the DeLorean is not in the photo op area. So it will actually be in the autograph hall. So it'll be a little ways away from the photo op area. So if you have a DeLorean shoot with either Tom Wilson or with Christopher Lloyd, or with both of them together, because there's actually 3 car shoots, then we would suggest that you move 15 minutes before the time on your tickets, over into the autograph area and ask the volunteers there where the DeLorean is, because they will be able to direct you where the DeLorean is so that you can have your photo op. That is, I think, pretty much covers Salt Lake City. For Edmonton, we don't have anything majorly specific. Brandon Betancourt says, hey guys. Hi, Brandon.
I waved earlier. I wasn't sure if you caught it or not.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. So if you have any more questions, I would say right about now is the time to put them in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll assume that you've had all your questions answered and you're ready to let us wrap up the show. So I'm not seeing anything come in at the moment, but
No.
it will. We're always available on support@epicphotoops.com if you need to ask us any further questions. You can also watch previous shows, which have a lot of the same information that we just talked about. And by all means, there's a Facebook page as well.
There's Twitter.
There's Twitter. You can get through to us quite a many different number of ways. I almost made that in one sentence.
Yeah.
But other than that, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Was there anything else that we can think of that needs to be said?
Epic photo of the day. I always forget to mention this. If you haven't caught on yet, we do an epic photo of the day for every single day of every single convention that we're at. So check out Instagram.com/epicphotoops. And if you can come up with a pretty cool pose, there's a good chance you might end up on Epic Photo of the Day. And there's also a possible chance that you might win something. Just saying. So try and keep your epic photos epic, and we'll see you at the next convention.
Yeah. Stay cool, stay courteous, and we'll see you in Salt Lake or in Edmonton. Okay?
Cheers.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.